Well, g'day, hobbyists, and welcome back to the Hobby Podcast, the podcast where we discuss all things from trading cards to pop culture and everything in between. I am your host, Dean Alsop, and as always, I'm joined by the one and only, the Colonel.
What's happening, everyone?
How's it hanging, Leroy?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good.
Feeling good. Episode 10 today.
Let's go.
Double digits. We made it to 10 episodes. Thank you so much to everybody that subscribes, comments, likes and shares, enjoys all of our content over on Instagram. We really, really appreciate it. Everybody that calls in. Hopefully the next milestone has another 0 behind this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to think that 10 episodes has been over 20 weeks.
Yep.
We've also had 4 amazing guests so far, with a 5th coming. So big thank you to all of our guests that have come on as well, taking the plunge with us. It's been really awesome. Speaking
of, today is a guest episode. But funnily enough, Colonel, I came across quite a lavish sort of podcast studio.
Oh, talk to me more.
I heard it's, look, I won't say too much, but if you come with me, I reckon I can break us in and we can just use that studio today. What do you reckon?
Dude, that'd be awesome. I'm so sick of setting this studio up. God damn it.
Are you ready to go break into this podcast studio?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Well, g'day, hobbyists. We're here with Darcy from Palms Off Gaming. Thanks for having us, Darcy. All right, well, hobbyists, sorry about the kerfuffle getting here, but we hope you like our new studio that we're borrowing for today. We have Darcy from Palms Off Gaming. How are you, brother?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
No drama.
I guess.
No drama.
Kind of a little forced entry to get here, but we're here now.
That's right.
It's a beautiful studio, man.
Thanks, man. We tried.
No, you've done a good job. Loving the podcast that you guys run.
Yep.
Still waiting for the invite to come on that, so we thought we'd have you on ours first.
Just hijack it anyway. If anybody sees me like moving in the side, I've got my dog here today, so she's just getting pets all time. So
yeah, we did untie him. He's not tied up for the entire episode. Just while we sort of took over the studio.
Yeah. You're welcome. Have fun. Have fun in my studio.
Mate, before we talk about Palms Off Gaming, we want the people to know a little bit about you. What's your backstory with collecting? Where does it all start?
Like right back at the start.
It'd be, a collector as a kid, but not seriously, but in like the adult community, I guess. On the online forums, I guess, and the online groups, probably back in 2017 thereabouts, give or take, maybe late 2016. And it was when like Evolutions came out. So me and Jack, we're really good mates, as you can obviously see. So we started collecting Evolutions back then, and then just slowly started collecting on the groups and just spoke to people, more and more people like Jason and everybody, and then met Lee down the lines and you and stuff. So it sort of just blew out of proportion from there, I guess. Yeah.
Did you get the Evolutions before the spike in price?
Oh yeah, well before, when nobody wanted it.
Yeah.
Like it was when it was printed and everybody was like, oh, this is a crap set. Like, why would I want this? And it was just people were just trying to literally sell them at for a booster box to profit $5. Like nobody wanted it. It was before like COVID and the influx of like obviously accounts for stores and stuff as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. You did mention that you did collect as a kid.
Yeah.
Even if it was briefly, what was it back then?
That was Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. So back when Yu-Gi-Oh first started as well. So I had the starter deck and everything. We used to play at school and stuff. So that was cool. And then Pokemon, I didn't have a lot of packs as a kid because obviously, we don't all grow up super wealthy or super well off. So not that we were desolate or anything like that, but like I didn't get a lot of packs growing up, but we'd have base set and like jungle and all that sort of stuff.
There was a lot of jungle, really right?
After that.
I feel like our sort of generation, there was like a lot of jungle packs. Like I remember sort of opening up maybe a couple of base packs, and then all the Yu-Gi-Oh packs my mum bought me were from like the Dandy Market, so they weren't legit ones. But still had heaps and played the game and stuff. But I felt like I say to people, when I was a kid, it was definitely a lot of jungle. I feel like I've just found heaps of jungle packs. I don't know if they were like cheap when we were young or something, or
maybe I don't know. I had a bit of legendary collection as well, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one to have.
Yeah. Not that I have the cards anymore. I remember having them, and everybody's kid was like, "These are not real." Like the hollow ones.
They were hated back then.
Yeah,
they were hated back then.
Yeah, like
and now it's
sort of spec hollows.
Yeah, it's insane. I remember looking at them as well as a kid and going, "Oh no, these must be from the Dandy Market too."
Yeah,
like, fakies.
Same vibe. Yeah,
yeah. But now it's like one of the most expensive sought after sets of all time. It's funny how that changes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have a piece from your childhood still? I know you said you don't have the legendary, but it's all gone.
I got some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff from when I was a kid, but no Pokemon. I think I gave them to a family friend, unfortunately. But not that they were sleeved or anything like that. That would have been weird.
Nah, never.
I like that. Not that they were sleeved.
Yeah. I've learned.
We'll get to that. But so do you have any like the Kyber stuff?
I had a bunch of the Pegasus deck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because of the Relinquish deck.
Yep.
And then just Celtic Guardian. There was the obnoxious Celtic Guardian, I think, was it came in a tin box.
Yep.
I got all that. And then I remember pulling the secret rare from Blue Eyes, which was the knight on the... Shit, someone's going to read me for this.
I know what you're talking about too.
Guardian Knight on the dragon.
Yeah.
It was
a Guy of the Fierce Knight. No.
Yeah, Guy the Dragon Champion.
Yeah, Guy Dragon Champion. Yeah. We got there together.
Thank God.
3 heads are better than one.
Yeah. So I got that one still. It's kicking around somewhere with some in that tin, in the very same tin. Yeah, it's kicking around somewhere.
So was Yu-Gi-Oh your favourite show to watch?
Yeah, it was. Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. Yeah.
There was kind of like they went hand in hand, right? Like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and then Dragon Ball. Yeah. Like all at the same time.
Yeah. Dragon Ball, I think, was because we lived like further out, so it'd take us a little bit longer to get into school. So like I'd sort of get to Dragon Ball and then it'd be like, cool, time to go. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Don't you collect Dragon Ball now though? Yeah. It's funny how that works, right? Is that like, do you think because you missed the show?
No, we had a couple of guys like when we were like year 7, 8, who were really into it into school, and they go out and buy like a new DVD box set like every weekend. Yeah, and so we just go back in there and watch that.
DVDs for you young kids out there that don't know what that is. Ask your parents.
Little frisbees that go into a little.
I mean, we probably still had VHSs back then. To be fair,
yeah.
I remember having Pokemon VHSs.
Yeah, I had the first like few episodes on the VHS tapes. Yeah.
Did you ever have one of those VHS players that had a VHS and a DVD drive?
No, I was never that rich.
That's like that was like mafia spec back in the day. Yeah. You go to someone's house and they had that, or like a rear projection TV or something. Yeah.
I had a throw projector now. That's sick. You know what they are?
No, what is that?
They look like a little sound bar, right? And they just you just put them like maybe that far against the wall, and it just throws it up on the wall.
What?
So sick.
Right.
So like we moved into our new place, me and my partner, and we got this small little study. And so I was like, how do I, like, I'm not a person that like needs a lot of space. I feel like I don't want to be like this person in an empty house. Like it just feels a bit weird. It needs to feel like a home, right? So just making efficient use of space, I'm big on, right?
Yeah.
So it's like this study, but it also has like, it doubles as like a little cinema room. So I get this little throw projector and it just throws it right on the wall. So I got my PS5 hooked up to that switch, all that sort of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah,
I love
bean bags and stuff.
I feel like I've seen those ads before floating around Facebook or something like that. Never pulled the trigger, but
they're sick. Like I got mine for like $2,000. I think they were retailing for $4 at the time, but I went to JB Hi-Fi. I'm like, I just want to pick your brain about this, and they're just like, they're on sale. I'm like,
you mean you're like, oh man, I can do a couple of binders and some sleeves. You knock a bit off this one. I'm sure you use that as currency pass, like whenever you're buying anything. Like, oh hey, you collect, yeah, here's some binders.
Trades,
yeah.
They're the best types of trades.
I mean, I'd be doing it too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Evolution's brought you back in with Jack. What are you collecting now? Are you still heavily?
Yeah, like I'll collect anything like Vegeta orientated, but I'm more playing now, which is weird because I've gone from collecting, right, to now just primarily playing a game and not actually like collecting as much, or I'll get a card that might have it on it, but I need to use it in a deck sort of thing. So I'll still collect cards, like I'll still collect all the tournament promos and the top 64 top 32 sort of promo cards and stuff like that.
Which are the chases, like in the player world?
Yeah.
All the prize cards.
Anyway. Yeah. So I got a bunch of those.
I didn't know you joined the dark side and became a player. When did that happen?
When Fusion World came out.
Dude, we got to delve way more into that.
Yeah, because
Fusion World is unreal.
Yeah, it's really good fun. So when Masters came out, like not Masters came out, but when we were thinking about getting on and playing, Masters was dying down.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh crap. And then we went up to Brizzy for that gig I was talking to you about, where we stole Locke and took him to a gig. Another whole side note, but anyway, you can watch some of the stuff with Locke. Maybe we'll release an episode about that. But we went up there, and the guys at Mint Collectables were really into Dragon Ball, and so they were just telling us all about the new game that was coming out in a couple of days.
Yeah,
and so we were lucky enough to jag a couple of packs on that day, and then we just took some starter decks back to the hotel room and learned how to play.
Yeah,
and the dynamic was sick. So it's not just like you don't have energy that's energy. It's like you can charge anything. Like anything can be used as energy. So it's like the breadth in which a deck can play is just so much wider because it's not just energy.
Yeah.
It's a card.
Yeah, Bandai obviously realised how well they did with One Piece and the way that sort of game plays. For the most part, it's relatively linear, but I think with Dragon Ball, there's probably a bit more flexibility.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I think that's why they did it right, because Masters just got a little too... I think there was too much going on.
Yeah.
So they basically had to go, let's reset and go back, start again, which is what Fusion World is.
Yeah.
A whole new way to play the game.
Yeah. So general consensus is thereabouts, yeah.
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 We've spoken about it multiple times that like the health of a TCG isn't just the collectability, but playing as well. And it sounds like it came at a really good time because we've all opened bulk Dragon Ball products and even common cards. You go, wow, the art on this is insanity.
Yeah.
Like they're so cool. But as far as value in the box, other than maybe a God Rare, there's not much value for collectors. But the strength of having the game there as well is pivotal.
Yeah, they're beautiful cards. They're made in Japan, so like they've got to be, right? So,
yeah, Bandai just nail it.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing.
Gorgeous cards, and they do. The card stock's really nice. They do a really good job with it. It plays fun, like it plays really nicely. So
yeah. Have you played any competitive tournaments or just like locally?
Yeah, it's regionals. Regionals was just last week.
Oh yeah, so on the Sunday, right?
Yeah,
because I was there for regionals on the Saturday.
Yeah,
for one.
So it was on Sunday.
Yeah.
The ball was on Sunday,
yeah.
So I went to that, and then a couple of the stores we'll go to and play. Like Umit's got a Blacklist literally down the road from here.
Yeah.
And he runs the biggest online group for Fusion World, so he gets a good turnout at his locals, and everybody there is awesome. Like so lovely. Or everybody that goes to that store is just good people. Yeah, which is sick. So
it's good to see that they've got a good community. I found that with One Piece as well, and I've talked about it on this podcast a million times. Yeah, it's just a good sort of crew of people, which makes it more enjoyable when you're playing a game as well. Yeah, especially when you're learning.
Correct.
You know? Yeah,
we all make silly mistakes and stuff, but people are just like, oh yeah, like you forget to charge or whatever. Like when I first started to learn, you just forget like little things. Yeah, it's a lot to take on when you just haven't played a card game since like Pokemon back in like 2020 or something like that, 2019 or something. Yeah, and then it's like, oh, I forget to charge. Like, oh, do you mind if I charge? I didn't pick it up this turn. They're just like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like that's fine. You probably wouldn't get right like, regionals or anything like that, but like at a local card store, like everybody's just like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just chuck whatever. Yeah, as long as you didn't pick it up on this turn, I trust you. It's great. Yeah,
your attention to detail. I think is pretty evident in the work that you do, and quality of product is so important. If you're opening something like Pokemon, are you leaning more towards Japanese and English because of that?
Yeah, way more. Yeah, like I stopped opening English ages ago. Like we'll open it on the pod and stuff, but like I just get like it's so heartbroken when you find the card you want and it's just like this is not like. This is got nicking it here and a nick in it here, and
it's not pack fresh, right?
Yeah, it's not. It'll come out of the pack like an 8 or something like that. For my Pokemon collection, it'll be mainly PSA or graded collection. Yeah. But yeah, it's just disheartening. So yeah.
I know it's one of the great things from the outside looking in to not just yourself, but everyone here at Palms Off. Like your love for collectibles across the board. It's Dragon Ball, it's Pokemon, it's Magic the Gathering. You can see that it really comes from like a wholesome place. Before we start talking about Palms Off, your day-to-day job as well. I mean, it's pretty evident on your body at the moment. You've got a lot of piercings. Do you want to talk about that, how you got into that?
Yeah. Come to my shop. It's opening soon.
You can plug it. You can plug it.
I will be. Don't you worry about that. So, I've come from, I've been to uni and done all that sort of stuff, and that was a totally irrelevant degree. Grew up in a household where parents were very strongly advising in 9 till 5, and that was never me. Like, I remember reading, like, as corny as it sounds and as, capitalist as it does sound, and I don't want it to come across that way, you get a little book of like 101 ways to make money and stuff like that. I was just not interested in the money side of things. Like even growing up, it was more so like the freedom in which that gives you. Yeah. So like just having because my parents worked long hours, right? It's like, well, if I own something, then I can like sort of pick my own hours and have a little bit more freedom. And you say that, and then you own a business, and you're just like, God damn it, I've been done. But eventually that is the goal. It's like you can find people around you and like hire them out, and you got to treat them well. Like I've been in many roles where I wasn't treated very well, unfortunately, and you get taken advantage of because you're driven. So people will use that to their advantage, and they won't up your pay, or they'll take advantage of the situation, and they won't reflect that in a pay packet or anything like that.
They won't reward.
Yeah. And it's not even like a reward. It's just like being treated, like being remunerated for like the quality of work that you bring. Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of business owners, when I was growing up, the ones that I had to deal with were unfortunately not great at that sort of thing. We're a family. And it's just like, family don't do this to family, unfortunately. So it's you got to change that dynamic. And so, coming back around to obviously the question of, how did I get into it, or, what happened was just like, I don't know, always had that drive to sort of make my own thing happen. I was always experimenting around with things, and then I'm throwing shit at a wall until something stuck eventually. And that helped out. But, my background is, body piercing. I worked at Coles back in the day when I was 16 through to early 18. Or early 19, that's where I met Jack, actually, who
Cole's friends.
Yeah.
Friends.
Cole's DC, Don Craig.
DC?
Yeah.
That would have been tough work, man.
I was in the dog food aisle, I just lift the heavy stuff.
You're Jack, bro. You're Jack.
Yeah, I was back then. Now look at me. So we met there, actually, and we've been really, really, really good mates ever since. And so then I moved off into body piercing because I had a mate that worked at a studio. And then I used to just get piercings. I remember getting like 4 piercings on a work break sort of thing, just like, screw it, I want a bunch. And then I walked in one day, I'm like, I was actually thinking how to learn like to body pierce, would you teach me? And they're like, yeah, we're actually thinking about hiring you anyway, so do you want a job? I'm like, okay. I ended up getting hired there. So, and then that's the whole tangent that I won't get into. The body piercing industry in Australia is really, it's really hard. There's no legislation. There's no nothing. So I could talk for hours about it. So it's not a primary use case for this podcast. So I'm not going to delve too much into it, but moved up the ranks through that. And then now, unfortunately found myself in some studios that didn't really remunerate correctly for the amount of work that you put in. So I was like, screw it. Like, Palms Off, thankfully, was doing well enough that I could take a little bit from that, or earn some money from that, and put money aside from other little things that I was trying to do to make my own sort of private room, because that costs a bit of money, because good quality jewelry is not cheap. And you got to buy a Statum, which are not cheap, multiple thousands of dollars. You got to renovate a room to be of an acceptable standard, and the standard I believe in is beyond what the state says or the council says. It's council regulated, right? So they might have a couple of regulations, but they're not really, to my opinion, great. So you have to go beyond that. So that costs money. It's not like
regulatory body or anything. It's sort of like,
nah, there's nothing.
Really making sure
you want to be a body piercer, you just get a first aid certificate and you can open up.
I mean, I'll body pierce Guernsey.
Yeah. I'll give you a crash course.
Yeah, go grab me something now and I'll do it right here. What do you give you one of these ones? What are those called? And put a ring through there.
Go back to the early 90s, get an eyebrow.
Yeah, sick.
Start a boy band.
Dude, you would suit an eyebrow ring.
That was my first piercing, but so did that, and then I actually went and moved into my private little body piercing studio and opened our first warehouse for Palms Off Gaming within the 2 weeks. So I flipped life on its head because I was still at home. So I was like, well, you only get one chance at this. Like, you may as well just send it, right?
Yeah.
One of them sticks great.
Yeah.
They both stuck, which is awesome. Moved into a warehouse. Me and Jack moved into the warehouse and then opened the studio. We were renovating the studio during that period, and then opened up 2 weeks after that as well. So all just changed quite a bit.
You've literally been running both, like, side by side.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And they're both smashing it.
Yeah, I just found good people to work with and be on board. So that's a very invaluable part of it.
Well, it sounds like you learned a lot of lessons along the road of people, sort of letting you down of what you expected from a leader.
Yeah.
So it was able to sort of shape you to be able to build those businesses and then be a leader to be able to find good people and have their stick.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so it's like you knew people you hired, like, this has happened to you and this has happened to me, and that's not why I'm here. Yeah. So I'm not going to let that happen to you, and I'm not going to do that to myself either. So we're going to put these. If you don't pay people correctly, or you don't, you treat them fairly or whatever, it's either two things. It's either you're really, really selfish, which is not good, or you really shit at running businesses, which is also not good. Like it's one or the other, bro. Like it's a combination of both, which is terrible. So either way, how you want to cut it to justify not paying staff correctly or treating them poorly, it's just like, well, you're either way. Don't run a business correctly and you can't run it efficiently and profitably to take care of your staff, or you're just a horrible person that doesn't actually treat them how they should be treated, and that's not good either. So leave. It's my motto.
Yeah, totally. We'll sort of dip back into the collecting stuff, especially when you're a kid, I guess, because like where did that influence come from? Was it purely just from Cheese TV, or was there family influence, friend influence?
I think one of my older cousins collect Yu-Gi-Oh, so that's probably why he used to draw a lot and collect Yu-Gi-Oh. So that got me into the Yu-Gi-Oh side of things, and then everybody used to play at school, so that got me into that as well. And then it sort
of just blows up and expands on that front.
Yeah. I must admit that before I met you, I'd kind of like seen you at conventions before, and I saw all your piercings, and I was like, man, he looks like Marek from Yu-Gi-Oh. Is there any kind of inspiration at all?
What is he? Xerxes from 300.
Is it because you talk about like expression through piercings, and tattoos are the exact same thing as well. I remember when I went and got my first tattoo, I got my family crest on my back, and it was a chance for me. I got pushback from everywhere through my family, but it was a way for me to express like kind of who I was, like I was young, 19-year-old, got the crest on my back. And the moment I got it done, like the acceptance that kind of came from that was like really awesome. But I just wanted to mention like the Marek reference, because I didn't know whether you were like, you know what? Yeah, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh. I want to like cool deck myself out.
We'll put a comparison shot right here. All right. Well, then, just to wrap up sort of your collecting journey before we delve into the beauty of this, is there anything like one standout item that you have in your collection, like something that it doesn't necessarily need to be something that you might have had as a kid, but something that you picked up over the journey that like reminds you of a certain pivotal moment in time, or something that you just, no matter what it's worth, it's not going anywhere?
That's a really good question. There's a couple of pieces. There's probably three, right? For three different reasons. There's the first graded card I got. First when we started collecting Dragon, because I used to collect Masters, like Dragon Ball Masters, which is Vegeta cards. So I've got the first, I don't even know what you call them. It's been so long. Not the ISRs, but there's like the Destruction Rares, like the Vegeta, SS3. You didn't even go SS3 in the anime or anything like that. But SS3 Vegeta, it's like all red and stuff. That was the first one I got put out of a pack from Masters. Probably. That one. There's a PSA 1 no rarity Blastoise I've got because I picked that up in Japan when I was over there many years ago when I was with Nick, who's our graphic designer here, before he was even working with us. Because we're all friends prior. So I went over to Japan for that one, and I found that in an old bulk bin. They obviously missed the no rarity. It was hacked anyway, right? But I got it for like $2, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I got a no rarity Venusaur for like $2 as well because it was in that bin, and it would have graded like a 7 or an 8, but PSA weren't grading them at the time. Like they weren't grading the Raichu or the Venusaur no rarities for some reason. I can't remember why.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they do now, but they weren't when I found that. And then there's an old Japanese cardstock English print Pikachu that I've got. That's like they test printed the English set on Japanese cardstock, and the only I think CGC is the only one that recognize it, and it's in a 7. It should be like it's nothing wrong with it. It should be like I don't know why. Maybe there is, and I've missed something.
Well, it's just a sample.
I got it in a 7, right? And it's like it's perfectly cut, and it's amazing because I got it out of this massive Japanese lot I bought from Japan just on Yahoo auctions, and I had the one English card in there. I'm like, why is this here? And then I spoke to a couple of people, and I don't know if you're familiar with Charlie Herlocker. The boy Jason would have spoken to him a bit in American stuff. So I was talking to him, and he's like, oh yeah, it'd probably be this one. You can shine a light through it, and it's just thinner cardstock, so you can figure it out from there. I'm like, oh no shit, okay, cool. So that's one of those. So I got that sitting at home in a 7. So I want to send that to, that's in a PSA slab, so I want to send that to CGC and get the proper label on it. So
yeah. So what did PSA call it? What's the label?
Nothing. They're just a shadowless one.
Just a Pikachu.
Yeah, it's just a shadowless Pikachu. It's just on a different cardstock, so it's thinner, so you can get light through it differently. Apparently.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
We're excited to talk about Palm Soft today, mate.
Yep. Cool.
Tell us about where it all began.
Tell us where the name came from.
Oh, it's just so uneventful.
Because all right, so obviously the idea comes to you. All right, let's start there. Like I said, let's start where and how the idea came to you. Then how did you decide what you were going to actually produce first, and then where did the name come from?
So we were just like, it was just sort of, it wasn't even intended to be a brand to begin with. We were just selling cards. Like me and Jack were just like, oh, we'll just buy some boxes, we'll open them and we'll sell duplicates and we'll sell a couple of boxes on the side. It was not from a place of, oh, let's make a shitload of money. Because if you want to make a shitload of money and you're opening a TCG store or whatever, and that's all you want to do is just run a store or an online store, it's not the place to go. You're aware the margins aren't that great. It's hard to do. There's a lot of admin as well. So it has to be from a place of passion, which is kind of cool because the industry is naturally gate-kept in that way, which is nice. So it's like you can't really get into this unless you know something about it. And to know something about it, you've got to have some element of passion. So I like that element about this industry. So we had that originally. It was just for a store and just to sell cards and stuff. And it was just, I'm just like, I don't like people, you don't know if people wash their hands, natural oils all over their hands. A body piercer as well, so very like cleanliness is a big thing for me. So like I know how much germs are on people's hands and skin oils and all that sort of stuff, and you just raw dogging cards. You know? It's just like, just rather you keep your hands off sort of thing, like or just look through a binder sort of thing. So that's where it's very, very stock standard where the name came from. And then the that's just how I was like, Palms Off gaming. That's got a ring to it sort of thing.
So there was no other name?
I don't think so. No, I was pretty
it's literally like
I'm fast and loose, man.
Palms off. Like keep your sweaty palms off.
Yeah, I'm fast and
then
loose.
Through gaming on there because that kind of makes
it doesn't bottleneck you into one thing. It's not like Palms Off TCG or something like that. It's like cool if we decide to do other things outside of the spec of like TCG, then we're not bottlenecked into now we're going to make a subsidiary. Video
gaming without palms though would be pretty hard.
It would be pretty difficult. No, VR very like Neuralink, bro.
So sleeves were the first product?
Yeah, the PSA sleeves.
So the PSA slab sleeves, not even card sleeves.
Yeah, PSA slab sleeves the first thing, because everybody was buying them from America and stuff, and they were paying like $20 to import, or $24 including postage to just get them in.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's too much. So I was like, all right, I will just make them for us because I want them, and I'm not paying $24 for a pack of sleeves. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'll just get some made. And you didn't make that much back then. And I just sell them to people in the community that I know, and just word. It was so bad, the packaging. Oh my God. I think I would have like MS Paint. Nick hates me for it. I'm like, it just needs to function. Like the product's good. Like that. I'm not here to take over the world. Like I just want to help. Like I don't want to see you guys buying packs of sleeves for $24. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
So like, let me do it. And if you want it, then you have it, and just buy it for $8. I don't care.
So did you have to hand package anything at any point yourself?
The binders, yes.
Yeah,
we did the binders, yeah. So we had to put them in the bags and all that sort of stuff manually when we first got them. And then we didn't have integrated shipping, so we'd have to type in the addresses for everybody and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah. The grind. That's like...
There's no website for a while as well.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's grind set mindset.
So what was after you'd done the sleeves, what did you go after next? What was the next product you got?
There was binders. It was binders. Yeah. Yeah. Because it was, I just remember looking at what was on the market and I was like, that's really expensive for what it is. I'm pretty sure I could find them somewhere else. So I got just a bunch of samples sent over. You pay a bit of shipping because DHL used to ship samples like $100 each time. You get through like 10 suppliers.
Yeah.
10 different samples, like $1,000. Plus you got to pay for the sample as well. So we just got a bunch of samples sent over and I was like, which was the best one? I'm like, cool, that's the best one. Like, what can you do with it? Resample again. But it was just because I was like, well, again, we shouldn't be paying this much for this type of product. It's not how much people are paying over here, and you just look at where it's coming from and where it's manufactured and where the company owns it. So half of them in America, right? Still gets made in China. Yeah. We're next door to China. Like, why would we get it made there, ship it to them, and then ship it all the way back to a distro, and then ship it to a wholesaler, and then to the end consumer? It's just like, well, why don't we just do it? So
you're the hero that we didn't know we needed.
Not all heroes wear capes. They wear hoods and sick jackets.
Yeah, because all right. So let's just focus on the binders then for a second, because your binders were the first binders that I'd ever come across post childhood TCG, which were big, chunky ring binders.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's what I was used to as a kid. And then when I sort of came back into the collecting scene, it was kind of when your binders was pretty much like the first run was kind of going out and taking off. Mm-hmm. And I'd never seen side entry pockets into a binder before, and I'd never seen a bag for your binder, like a dust bag.
Yeah.
So like, who came up with that?
Me. It was just supposed to be like a luxy sort of like unboxing experience.
The dust bag?
Yeah. It was made to be, it was mostly supposed to be a promotional item. Yeah. And then people were just like, I like it. And some people don't use them, but like, it's just a good unboxing experience for people. Like, it's just like, oh, this is sick sort of thing. It's just to make you feel good when you pull it out of the box.
I mean, it does add a layer of protection too, though.
Yeah.
Because I, for one, have a couple of your white limited edition ones that you did.
Yeah.
And they've always been in their dust bags and there's no issue with them.
Sick.
Then we've got a bunch at the shop that don't sit in dust bags and, it's white. Yeah. So just with life, it's unprotected.
The oils pumps off my binders.
Yeah. What about side entry pockets then? Because
they were always seen as the gold standard, like to me anyway, as a collector, like when I was going through, like, because obviously we were collecting for a few years prior to like going to accessories, as you shouldn't just raw dog into a company, like into a business model that you know nothing about, right? So like I always saw that as like a premium option, and everybody always had to push back against top down because they were too shallow or they warped or whatever. So I was like, all right, we're going to do something. I only want to do like the top end. I don't want to do like bottom end. Yeah. That's why we don't do the cheap plasticky ones. We don't do like the cheap plastic covered binders with the elastic and stuff. I have no interest in doing them because they don't align with our values as a company, like, and my values as a collector as well. It's like, no, like you're protecting a set of cards. Your cards are worth a lot more than a $20 binder, just a cheapie. Yeah. Like you want to, it's just that the jump isn't that different. Like it's $19, $20, 25. Competitors are 30, I think, for the overseas competitors, like 30, 32. Or you can get this like zipped leather bound one that's going to protect it. Put a silica pouch in there if you want to, and that's like 44, 45.
With a dust bag.
Yeah, that's full price. You get them a discount from a lot of stores, 10% off, whatever, promos and stuff. And it's like with a dust bag, it's like, cool, here you go. Like that's...
Yeah, it's unreal, bro.
Yeah, it's like, that is the minimum standard. It should be the minimum standard. So I'm not going to devalue the brand by bringing something cheaper in there. That's just I'm not going to compromise.
I'm glad to hear it.
Talk us through some of the early conversations when you realized that it had gone from protecting your cards and a few mates to, I think we've actually got a business here that we can start to grow and expand. What were those early chats like?
It was me and Jack are like, you probably picked up on this, we're both very much the same person, like in a lot of degrees, obviously different here and there, but like fast and loose. Like Nick hates it. Like Nick here is very like calculated stuff. We're just like, just do it. Like just get it done, like have fun with it sort of thing. So that's what we've done. And yeah, it was cool after the first, shipment of binders went out. We've got an old photo of us like just with the binders like stacked up against the wall at my old place. It was just like maybe from here to the end of where Lee is probably, and it was maybe a wall about that high of just like binders and stuff, just in like boxes and stuff. So it was the first order that went out. That was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's really good.
It's cool to have that photo too.
Sick.
It should be on the wall here.
Yeah, well, we're going to actually, so in here, you probably can't see this on the cameras, but there's like, I put tape all over the floor and stuff.
I was wondering what that was when we broke in. I was like, it already looks like a crime scene.
So we're just going to map out like some tables and stuff, and we're just going to do some local like games nights here and stuff like that. So like little events and shit, just like private ones. And
well, you're on some One Piece, bro. Let me know. I'll come down here and walk everybody.
Sick. Hell yeah. Yeah. Nice. I'll do a crash course and I'll smash it. But yeah, we want to do like a sort of a progression of Palms Off. We've got an archive of all our like old products as well. We've kept one of, mostly everything that saw like big changes. So we got the first type of binder that we ever came out with in the old dust covers, and the first pack of PSA sleeves that on like the ghetto MS Paint sort of spec packaging and stuff, and we're going to like frame them, put them in those 3D frames and actually build like a museum of POG in POG. So that's the idea, and then just turn this into a fun little space. So
yeah, it's sick.
Yeah.
I like it.
Create that story. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Before we jump off sort of that, binders, I actually was talking to a customer the other day, and I sold him one of your PSA slab binders. Are you, and if you can or cannot say, are you working on a PSA slab binder that kind of resembles your normal binder, but is for graded cards.
Yeah.
Something that like may or may not have a zip and have sleeves in it.
But not like how you traditionally would see it now, because the problem with those is like they are on the market with soft pages, but we haven't released them for good reason, like because they break. Like,
well, you guys are perfectionists.
Yeah,
sure, man.
So they break. We got them in to test them because they like come out overseas and they're like, yeah, here you go, try this, and you just after a few goes, like the pages split.
Yeah.
So like, and then you've got to deal with a return, and then the customer's not happy, and then like yes, it looks cool and people want it now. They don't last.
Yeah.
So it's coming up with something that will last, and if we can't make that product last, then being able to swap something out or like replace a portion of the product and not the whole unit, because they're pre-built, like pre-bound in pages.
Yeah.
So if you have to replace one, you have to replace the whole unit, which is really wasteful.
Of course, yeah.
We're already in an industry that is very like plastics driven. And I've said it before, like we're in an industry that is archivally safe plastic. So it doesn't really biodegrade very well. So we're in a weird predicament where we want to be environmentally conscious, but we're in an industry that is wanting to protect things for archival reasons, which is non-biodegradable plastic. So
yeah,
bit of a problem there.
Bit of an oxymoron in a sense.
Very much so.
Yeah. So all right, cool. Well, I'll take that as kind of a scoop, because I said to you beforehand, did you have any? And you said no.
As vague as that is, like maybe. Yeah.
You mentioned Palms often the morals and standards that you want to build this business to. I think one of the big things that you guys do really well is you're known for your accessories, but you guys are everywhere. And when I say everywhere, you're at conventions, you're in local trading card stores. We ran 2 charity events 2 years ago, and you drove an hour to drop off binders for giveaways to charity events. So do you want to let's like break down a little bit the tree of what is Palms Off. Talk us through getting to cons and being present all around the country and what that looks like.
Yeah, so like interstate's hard because like we don't go to many interstate cons. Like we haven't really been to any. We will be trying to as much as we can. It's hard to coordinate and lug that amount of stock around, because it's not like a box of cards you just pick up and take a suitcase of PSA or something like that. It's like a lot of stuff, so it's very hard. But local events and stuff, like we'll always try to go to in Victorian state events, and we'll always drive to like drop charity stuff off. Like that's always a big part of it. But just getting involved is great. I have like a lot of fun at the days because you meet everybody. Like I am so bad at remembering names. But faces I'm really good with.
It took you like 4 times to remember my name. I was like, dude, how many times do I have to come out to your warehouse, bro, before you
really
remember who I am? Dean, Darcy. It's not even that hard. Like our names sound kind of the same.
Oh, dude, I struggle some days when I don't even remember my own name. But like I'm so bad. But the faces I'm really good with. So like you see people at events and be like, I'm just at this stage. Like I usually tried to cover it back in the day, but the ADHD brain, I only got diagnosed like a year ago. So like I'm like, oh, there's a reason for this, right? So like there's a reason I'm this forgetful. So I'm so upfront with people now. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm really with names, but I know who you are.
Yeah.
Remind me again, please. I'm so sorry. And they'll tell me, I'm like, I'm cool. I'll just try to commit that as much as I can. Like I can only do what's in my scope. So, but for names and stuff, I'll remember what we spoke about and everything, and I'll have a chat to them. But just getting to meet people again and having a chat and just, seeing all the vendors is really cool too. Yeah,
because they're all like your mates.
Yeah.
Your homies. I don't think it's, for the most part, I don't feel like our industry is like, it's me versus you. It's kind of like, it's very sort of community and camaraderie driven.
Yeah.
For the most part.
How it should be as well. Like at the end of the day, like it's always better, being respectful of everybody. You're always going to work, get further working together than you are going to be working against each other, particularly when you're small companies or small businesses, not even companies. You might be just a sole trader.
Yeah.
But like being friendly with someone is like, okay, cool. Well, we're up against these big corps. So if I've run out of stock of this, then I want to be able to recommend another store.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, cool, I'm out. Do you want to send them my way? Be like, yep, no dramas.
Yeah.
It's good. And players will bounce around store to store as well.
Palms Off Gaming now, I see it all through stores. Mm-hmm. What does the store network look like at the moment? Do you know how many stores you're in, the expansion? Because you're also in New Zealand, correct?
Yeah. So if you, like a lot of stores in Australia now, I don't know the exact number, I will in a couple of weeks because we're just doing a big overhaul of our systems and stuff. So I'll be able to go through and clean it all up the back end. Just doing a lot more for our wholesale partners. And then New Zealand, we're through a distribution network over there. So they're doing a really good job with everything. Fantastic people, really nice, know what they're doing. Great. So yeah, the network's like large, it's growing. We've got some really good partners on board, which has blessed us a lot. But yeah, we're very blessed in the sense that I really haven't made that many outbound sales calls. I don't do sales. It's like, our product can speak for itself, and if you want it, great. I'm not going to force you to jump on board if you don't want to. Like, it's fine. And I don't ever want that to get misconstrued about like, we don't want you because you haven't been approached. It's just, if you want it, like, come get it. Like, there's no obligation. I'm not going to try to hard sell you anything. And another reason is that we want to do everything right. So instead of biting off more than we can chew and just like calling everybody and just trying to do it all, it's like, well, we can slowly scale, do it all right, iron out the creases like as we see them, and then actually roll everything out in a nice, orderly fashion that's sort of appropriate. I don't want to just sort of be calling a bunch of accounts and just being out of stock of everything and just being like, well, it defeats the whole purpose of why we're here. It's to have a constant supply so that everybody is not, shit's not getting scalped, and, everybody's got what they need when a new set comes out. So that's one of the reasons, and another reason is when we roll out what we've got coming up for wholesale departments over the next few months, then that's going to be another better user experience for them as well, and we can roll out more of the benefits, particularly geared towards physical storefronts and stuff like that. So
yeah. And is world domination on your radar?
Yes. No.
I was like, yes, absolutely.
World domination.
I mean, you look like a world domination kind of guy.
I'll go give it away. Look, man, as I had to do a speech, a sort of a presentation over in NZ when we had a retail day, and it's not on my immediate radar to go over into these big countries and sort of be like, buy a shit, because it's the same, literally the same reason I just said now is I don't want to bite off more we can chew at the moment anyway, and handicap our ability to do Australia right, sort of thing. It's we'll get this done first and we'll do it right. We'll get a formula that works, and then we'll take it overseas. But a lot of people are extremely patriotic as well. So you could spend all this money trying to launch overseas, and it flop, and then you've handicapped yourself now. And it's like, cool, well, now it's going to take us extra this many years to get this sorted in Australia. It's probably not going to do that, but it's like, I still want to do all these things here first, and then we'll take it overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not in Tasmania yet then?
One for
the Tassie listeners. Sorry, guys.
We check our Spotify numbers, and the views from Tassie are still 0. So
nobody watches.
Well. We do. You're welcome. Everybody's welcome. But they're not going to see this. Basically.
How much do you guys work, and how much do you talk about customer experience and providing that? Because I think one of the great things that you guys do is you provide such loyalty in your product, and you spoke a little bit around, if something gets sent out damaged, they get replacements, whatnot. I want to talk also about a specific product that you launched, which was the top loader binders. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I haven't seen very often at all, but you put it out to the people to say, there's 2 products here that we can kind of choose from. Yeah. You go and vote on the clear sleeve, which is most likely going to scratch and get damaged, or do you want the more clouded, sturdy ones? Yeah. So, by giving that power over to the consumer, obviously you guys must be really honing in on that customer experience.
Yeah. So we came out with, we developed that. We were the first ones on the market with that product, actually. And we came out with the matte ones because it's top loaders, you see a lot more trade days. They're heavier, they'll scratch more. So we're like, all right, well, we've got these 2 options. We can do it clear, we can do it this. And the pages for the top loaders, sometimes with the thicker ones, with the matte, they sort of get wavy and stuff. And people, when you open it, they're like, oh. So we're going to put foam dividers in there just to keep everything flat and looking neat and stuff. But we just had a lot of feedback. Like, I don't like the cloudy page. I'm like, I get it. Like, I get you. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, some people really are cutthroat with it as well. It's like, I don't want a stupid company like release something with cloudy pages. I want to my cards. I'm like, there's a reason behind it. Like, there's actually thought that went behind it, and it's because of this. But like, I understand that you want it to be super clear, so I've got to listen to you. Like, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But these changes don't happen overnight. So if you say you want clear ones, I've heard you. I can't release it tomorrow. Like,
it's not the matter of walking into the factory tomorrow and going, pushing clear on a button, not a chance. And it just prints it out.
So as soon as that feedback came in, we were like, cool, all right, we've got to do this.
Yeah.
And we released out there and just educating people as to why we went with that decision and justifying it. And not like, didn't want it to come and not having that come across as like we're backpedaling either. Yeah. It's like, we're not stupid. We already have binders that have clear pages on them. Like, this is why we did it. If you don't like it, we completely understand. Just keep your eye out. We'll have a solution for you coming forward, but do expect this.
Yeah.
Like, over time, they're going to look partially matte anyway. You look at a normal binder anyway, like your old binder that you use heaps, it'll have the outline of the card on 100%. There after a while because it buffs in. Yeah. So it's like, you're just going to have a little bit more dinged up. You're not going to get that with this one, but it's cloudier and you're not going to see the holo patterns as much, but we'll sort you out. Don't worry. We'll come back to it, sort of thing.
So you're still making both variants or just the clear ones now?
Both. Still doing both. But the clear ones are the most popular, which fair enough. And so we do just the black and the matte, and then we do all the colours for the clear one because that was just
the colours, bro, are popping off.
Yeah.
Thank you for yellow.
Yeah.
My favourite. Yeah. Took you a little too long, if I can be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't have like a favourite colour, right? But something about the yellow ones, man, they just pop. Like, I don't
have a favourite colour, but yellow, man.
It just looks sick, bro. It looks so good.
It's nice and bright and vivid, yeah.
Yeah. How many colours are you up to now?
I
think you're like
question 7
6 or 7?
Black, 7 including black. Yeah. I mean, navy's in there as well. It's sort of a pilot color or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the stealth binders kind of like made their way out stealthy.
Yeah.
Sort of which is a nice touch.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I prefer the OG.
Good. Thank you.
And represent. I just like the feel, man.
Yeah, the tactile leather, like the tactile material. Yeah.
But again, you have listened to your consumer base and then created one without branding.
Yeah.
To appease a portion of your market. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, because they were like, people were like, oh, I want to put decals on it. I don't like the heavy branding. It's like, well, like, we do because we're the brand, and a part of growing a brand is actually brand awareness. So that's why we went really, really bold with the branding of it all to begin with. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but like at the end of the day, I had this conversation with Nick, who's a graphic designer, when we were designing particular things. He's like, oh, there's just too many design elements here. I'm like, you're pitching to people that collect trading cards that like the busiest card in the set is typically the rarest. Like, we're looking for hectic shit. That's what we want. That's what we gravitate towards. We gravitate towards the foil. We gravitate towards bold logos and all that sort of stuff, or bold design elements and over the top design elements and stuff like that. So like, that's the market you're pitching to. Yes, in the the neat space that is graphic design, keeping everything neat and concise, particularly in Melbourne, like black and white and simple branding and stuff. It's just not really the area that we're in greatly. So like, go over the top, have fun with it, do different design elements. And it was great for brand awareness. And the big P, when we rebranded, doing it like that was a really good way of, I feel, getting the brand out there. Like, Coca-Cola spec branding, whereas you see it and you're like, oh, it's probably okay, so.
Can you make me a custom one that says the Hobby Podcast?
I can work on it,
on the front?
Yeah, sure.
So it looks exactly like a Palms
we don't do customization.
You know what you could do? You could say the Hobby Podcast, and you can make the P the Palms Off Gaming logo. I better make it a 2 of 2. He's got to have one too, I guess.
Second thought over here.
Oh, maybe 3. We're going to get JP one over there as well.
We had a customer actually start UV printing onto the stealths, actually, because that was the primary reason behind it was decals, and then you could print on them. You could do whatever you want.
Oh, is that like those little laser heater printer things? That
it's like a UV printer. They put ink and they cure it via like UV. So they test print it on one, and you check for scratch resistance and all that sort of stuff.
I don't want that. I want the OG stuff, but like once off.
Yeah. I'll think about it.
There was a once off binder that I thought was pretty cool. The Oni Mask binder. Oh, yeah. Your friend, Big Bow Tattoos.
Yeah.
I've got one of them in my collections.
Beautiful binder.
Talk through that process, because that binder has like a different zipper on it.
It's got a scroll for the zipper.
It comes in the case. Even the box itself, the box is multi-purpose because you can store cards through it. What was it like getting a product from end to end that was like that?
That was just a massive passion project. Like that was just like, that was not geared to like make money. It was sort of geared towards like, I just want to do something really, really cool, and I want to help out a friend that's in, you know, in tattooing, and, you know, unfortunately we're all stooges. It's why we do a lot of work with like bands and music, because we got screwed in like piercing as well. We got screwed during COVID, right? So it's like, cool, we can collaborate with you guys and do some fun stuff. And I've been getting tattooed by Bo since I was 19, and so is Jack, right? So it was just a cool opportunity to sort of collaborate with him, and just, yeah, saying how far we could take something and how luxy we could make a product feel. And we were going through the we got like books and books and books and books and books of like swatches and materials and stuff. So we're just going through that. I'm like, oh, that's like a wood grainy sort of feel. That's really cool. And then like, oh, we're doing like an oni binder. It's like old school Japanese sort of thing, and we could make it into a scroll and put kanji on it and stuff like that. So that's how we went with it. And then we wanted to make the packaging really cool and bougie. And it's expensive to manufacture that type of packaging in that size as well. Like it's not cheap. Yeah. It's really expensive. And it's like, well, I don't want to do, you know, probably all guilty of it, particularly around our age bracket, when you get something in really nice packaging, you're like, oh, I don't want to throw it out. It's pretty cool. You know, like, so it's like, I don't want it to be just sit in a cupboard, and, you know, it probably still will because you're storing cards in it, but have a function for it instead of just like, just throwing it away, or just it's being too nice to throw out, because I don't want to mark the product up unnecessarily to sell it. I'm not, again, I'll revisit, I'm not out to take over the world or anything just yet. Yeah, I need help from everybody else first, so buy my shit.
You need better security on your front door, man.
Oh, man. Take over the world. There is so much security here, by the way. I was trying to set up the alarm, like when you guys come in, it is so loud as well. But if you like, there's just a couple of seconds delay, and I know that you'd stop recording as soon as like you got the scene. But my God, it's like one of those ones where you listen and you start getting dizzy and stuff if you listen to it too long. It's great. We're just protecting binders, but she's not stealing binders. Yeah, so I just didn't want it to be marked up unnecessarily for something you're just going to throw out. So I was like, all right, well, we can build it this tall and put dividers in it so you can actually reuse it and actually house bulk and stuff, because people were struggling to find boxes for bulk as well. So I was like, why don't we just kiss? Just make the two products work, and that's how we came about it. It's like, how much thought can we put into one product and how far can we take it, sort of thing. Yeah.
One last question, I reckon, before we get off your products, because you've just released a new product.
Yeah.
The new collector series in the 9, 12 and 16 page binders.
Yeah. That
house twice as many as they usually do. Mm-hmm. How difficult was that actually to make?
It wasn't.
It's a lot of cards, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't difficult. It was expensive to do, because you had to. A lot of what I've had feedbacks as well for binders was like the page bowing.
Yep.
And so I don't know if many people have noticed, but they've been upgraded across the board. And that happened a couple of months ago when the new packaging for the collector series changed. All those binders have like extra wide columns on the inside to prevent that from happening. And that wasn't publicly announced. That was just something that we listened to for people. And we were just like, shit, all right, enough people have said this. Like, it doesn't affect it because you're not leaving the binder open for that to do anything to your cards. But people were still like, oh, I don't like this, which is like fair enough. Like, it's not going to damage your cards because you're not leaving your binder open like that for that to do damage over time. It's closed, you know, but still, like, your point is valid, and I understand that's what you want as a consumer, so I have to listen to you, and I will. So that we broaden the page and the spine. So with double caps, you got to do that again.
Well, talking about the spines and the binders, that's what I was talking about earlier with customer experience, and you guys really focusing on that. You identified a problem, well, what you thought was a problem with the product, and you just went and fixed it for the consumers out there.
Yeah. Like any slight feedback's feedback, right? So, so we just, there's a continuous evolution of a product. It's not just like, this is it. Like, you can make improvements, and then if they're minor, like major ones that are going to change significantly, then you sort of got to put a big, you know, announcement out for that. But for these ones, we're just widening the columns of the pages, for example. We did it in such a way that it really negligibly affected the size, because a lot of people are just like, everything needs to be exactly the same. A lot of neurodivergencies in TCG. I'm a living example of that.
Wait, are you saying that people expected a double thick binder?
Oh, so I'm talking about like the just the general rollout for the slightly wider columns on our regular binders, but for the double wides, obviously a different story.
I was going to say, there's no way.
Yeah, no way. But yeah, for the limited edition ones, then we need to make them double the width again to compensate and make everything lay flat, even though it's not, a functional issue. It doesn't, unless you're leaving it open like a tome on a desk or something like that, it's not going to actually do anything. But still, if the consumer's like, I don't like the way that happens, and that's a general consensus, and then fix it. Like we'll make it better. We'll make it work. Yeah.
This might go down in the history as the most comprehensive deep dive into binders in the TCG space.
God, I love binders.
Yes. No, I love them too.
Let's talk about the content. We've spoken about the product. We know where it all began. But I've noticed my socials over the last 12 months have been a lot more active, seeing palms off, videos, reels going up. Let's start with the affiliate program firstly.
And why we aren't one.
You gotta earn it.
I saw that in the notes. So I'm like, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute.
But so we got Jacob on board for that one. So Jacob's another good friend of ours. Just happened that he needed a new role. So we were just like, look, can't offer you something at that stage. We're like, we can't offer you anything permanently because this is where we're at, but we want to tide you over while you find something. But if, we set these sort of goals in place, then sure, we can facilitate something for you. It's just like, I don't want to promise you something. Again, like if you're going to run an ethical business and sort of treat you friends like friends still, we want to keep everyone on the same page. Honesty is the best policy and utter transparency. So it's like, I don't have something for you at the moment. We have enough to tide you over in the meantime. Jump on board sort of thing. And so we're just like, we set these sort of, goals, I guess. And it's like, if you can hit these, then we'll just keep you on. We'd love to have you. Everybody's going to want to keep you here, and it's fun. It's a nice work environment. So he was able to stay on and for the most part, meet those sort of targets, I guess you would call them. Not even, there's no sales metrics for that sort of role, like the way we built it initially. But yeah, like the premise was that we didn't want to be like a faceless company. We wanted to be like, because as things grew, without me getting on a massive tangent, like I wish I could be as involved as what I was in the groups before, but because I am so busy with everything, it's just unfortunately that's how it goes, and you sort of separate away and you sort of break off from those sort of group, like online groups and stuff like that. And still, everybody still knows me, and it's lovely. My name gets dropped every now and again, but like, it's hard. Like, I don't want to that be gone for so long that like everybody forgets where Palms Off came from, essentially. So Jake coming on board and actually showing our faces and showing a personality to the business was really important to sort of keep that touch going with people and the community. So that's why we got him on board. And he's been doing an absolutely outstanding job with it.
So did he come up with the affiliate program?
I believe so. It's something we wanted to do, and we sort of sat down and we were like, how do we do it? How do we do it ethically? How do we do it, roll it out in a way that's sort of not, again, biting off more than we can chew, and we can treat them. We don't just give them stuff and say you're an affiliate and just put our code everywhere, because that's what a lot of brands do. They don't actually provide value to their affiliates. It's like, we want to provide value to you guys outside of just get some money from, spreading our code around everywhere. And because not everybody uses those codes or like follows the click-through links and stuff like that, but they'll still buy nevertheless. And we also understand that. It's like, you promoting it leads to sales regardless of if they use your code or not. And you guys are good people. We're very selective. We don't just allow people to become affiliates either. Like, it's not something you just get out. It's not something that's just handed out because we don't want to bite off more than we can chew. So we're very selective about. We've been approached a few times. It's so hard saying no to people sometimes. Like, I hate saying no to people. For sure, I hate it. But we don't say yes to people that just post pictures of cards, for example. It's like, you need to have character. You need to embody the ethos of like what we are as a brand and like what we are, who we are as people.
Have your own sort of brand as well. Then both parties are going to benefit from that.
Yeah, you got to have a character about it, and like we got to see what you're about and show you, not necessarily show your face, but just have, outside of just still images of cards. Like, that's great. I'm so stoked that you've got an amassed following for just posting stills of cards or just unwrappings or stuff like that. But we do like character. Because we're silly guys. So we're very selective about who we take on. And it's not to say like you apply, you're gonna reject. We tell people like, hey, this is what we look for. We don't just say no and like go away. Like we're like, hey, we would love to have you on board. This is what we look for. If we start seeing your content gearing in that direction, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
But we just don't want a million of them. Like that. I don't want it to become hollow.
Yeah.
And so like, having a smaller crew of them as well, it's like, cross collaboration, and we can put them in touch with wholesale partners that they might benefit from. And we want to provide value outside of just, using the code, you get a little bit of money and stuff. We want to see you do well as well. Nothing gets me harder than watching my friends succeed. Yeah. It's me and Jack's motto. So.
I love that, man. It's interesting too that you mentioned, because not everybody does use the codes or the click-throughs, right? Like I'm the first person to admit that when I do see some form of advertising through social media, I very, very rarely click on the link.
Yep.
I don't know if that's just like link fear or whatever it is. But I'll then go like, say if I scroll and saw a video and I hadn't heard of Palms Off and I see something, I'm like, oh, that's dope. I'll back out of the video, Google Palms Off Gaming.
Yeah, do the same thing.
And then go and have a look at it. You know what I mean? Whereas if you look in their description, it's probably like click here and then you do that. And then, they're getting their sort of affiliate pay or paycheck from that. So
which is a hard mentality to be in, because like they're obviously putting it in front of everybody and they need to kick back from that. So we understand that, and we're just like, cool, we just want to, what else can we do for you outside of just codes?
Yeah.
There's a really great story around the marketing of one of the biggest companies in the world, Red Bull. And when they first started out, but actually before they started out, they were throwing empty cans in all the college bins. So people were walking around campus, and when they'd go and put something in the bin, they'd see a Red Bull can. And it's having that, I don't know what the marketing strategy is called, but...
Guerrilla marketing.
Yeah, having people see the product first. It's the same thing as the affiliates, the content creators. You might see it and then go and you see it in store and you go, oh.
What was that? What's that company with the red box, and it has, it's a clothing company or some shit like that? Supreme. That's what Supreme did allegedly, was guerrilla marketing. Just slap stickers everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's interesting marketing, and then a lot of Red Bull stuff is not actually of the product either. It's of UGC, like user generated content, and all that sort of stuff.
Pretty much. Like there's so much Red Bull stuff that you see that doesn't involve an energy drink.
Yeah,
like it's just
it's a way of life.
I'm giggling because there's one on the table right now. Like while we're talking about it, I'm like, oh,
she's totally sponsor us and give us a fridge, please. I wasn't going to V.
Free fridges.
Talk us through the podcast. Thank you so much, firstly, for coming on ours today. And now we're going to go. And now we want to get into a little bit about the podcast.
Yep.
Who came up with that? Where'd you start? How many episodes are dropped? What's the hardest thing? Just lay it all out on the table.
So originally the podcast was, because Jacob Hummer, he's a sound engineer. So originally he was just doing podcasts and that was his primary focus. However, like you've got to lead in to podcasts, and it's a long form content. It's very hard to get people sold on you to commit to long form content, particularly when everybody is so the mind in TikTok and shit.
TikTok
like it's so short attention span, right? You have to grab people in. So, eventually Jacob was promoting, making such good content, and he still does to this very day. He makes fantastic, very talented man, like fantastic content. He's going to love that I said fantastic. It's fantastic.
Is that like your safe word?
Yeah. It's like instead of arm or whatever, it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Our shirts is, I don't know if you've seen the trading card shirts that Nick designed. The trading card on the back is Mr. Fantastic, and it's got words. There's little Easter eggs in there if you watch the potty. But he was making such fantastic long form content, but he wasn't getting the viewership, and we still don't get a massive viewership, but it's more so. We don't do it for the viewership anyway. But beside the point, he wasn't getting as much viewership as he probably deserved. So it's like, all right, well, mate, why don't we focus on short form content, grow the Instagram, and then you can lead people back into long form content if they decide to commit to it. That way you're going to get more viewership. We're probably going to see more success online through social channels. It's just that's where society is at the moment. So that's what we've pivoted to. And he's doing a fantastic job. As someone that hasn't done social media management before, he has taken on all these new roles and just run with it. And he has done an incredible job so far. So I try to tell him somewhat regularly, and I tell him a little bit more, but I hope I'll con into watching this and I'll just stroke his ego.
Has he got the coffee pot in the machine?
No.
I swear, like early on, like I reckon the sub 30 days, there was a couple of close shots.
Yeah.
Like ones that literally like bounced off the rim.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it, quit. That's as close as it's going to get.
He's had a few like close calls. The line that he's up to at the moment, I believe, is is the furthest we've actually made it in. So we've actually made it in at that line. I think Jack's made it in. I've made it in once. Every time you move the crease back. So we move it back and back and back. So Jacob's just taken with it, and he's just trying to get it in.
But he hasn't got it in at all.
I think he's got it in at shorter,
but not on
intervals, but not at that length. No, and not on camera. So he's got to earn it. So good luck.
He's the one who's put himself out there.
But he's done a great job with it. Like it's hooked some people. Like I'm
hooked.
A lot of people, just a lot of our mates and stuff. They're just like, I don't even play TCG, but I watch it every morning.
Yeah,
and my partner's friends as well. Like we went to a party. They came to one of our house parties for I think my partner's 30th, and she's like, I just watch it every morning. It's one of the first things I do. I wake up and I just see if Jacob's.
Where's the coffee guy? Why isn't the coffee guy here?
Yeah. And then I was posting a few days. I'm like, is he sick? What's wrong with him? Like, has he given up? Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
And then the next couple of days, it'll just like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to upload. So bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Like, so it's good. They go for a lot of coffee, the boys.
Yeah.
Caffeine fueled monsters.
Right.
It's great.
Well, my missus hates it because our espresso budget's gone up because I'm having shots at mine as well. But half of my pod's getting damaged and broken. So I'm hooked as well.
You got to buy them in bulk. That's what we do.
So how often are you guys doing vlogs as well?
Sporadically, pretty sporadically.
Because I really enjoyed the one when you guys moved.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool.
Yeah,
sort of watch you pack up a warehouse and move into this one.
Yeah.
And then I think I enjoyed another one. It was actually about you guys getting ready. I think it was a short form one though, about you guys getting ready for. It might have been the TCG Expo or the Hobby Hangout. One of those two.
TCG Expo. Yeah. And I think we did another one.
Yeah. Jacob picked you up at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, TCG Expo.
Got the Macca's coffee.
All
that.
That's sick. Yeah, we want to do a lot more of that. We are trying to tee up one pretty soon with a couple of the affiliates actually.
Not us.
Again, earn it. Unfortunately, we were supposed to do it this week. One of them has fallen ill, unfortunately. So it's just.
So you didn't cancel for this?
Nah.
I thought you cancelled to be
You're not that important. No, I love you. Sorry.
Should we tie him back up?
I'm not like that. But yeah, the content for that was supposed to go through this week. But we are trying to do a bit more of it and be a bit more consistent with vlog content because I really enjoy it. One of my favorite ones was when we had to blindfold each other and build gingerbread houses.
Yeah, that was
in the middle of July.
Yeah,
last year or year before, something like that. That was good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did enjoy that one. What was it? There was another one.
When me and Jack made sleds and went down the stairs. That was not OH&S.
Always gonna, and I mean, there's a huge glass window in front of the stairs too, right?
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
If you'd actually had
pretend it's not there.
You did a good job at it.
That's why you put pillows down the end.
Did everyone sign consent forms? Like, in case
no, because me and Jack. I told the boys, I'm like, you guys are not allowed to go down. It's just me and Jack because we own the business, so we're allowed to hurt ourselves.
Love it. Before we move on to our last segment, which is some rapid fire questions, is there anything else about Palms Off that you want to touch on before we move on? Is there anything that we may have missed that you're...
Spill the beans, mate.
I don't think I can. If you can, maybe like 2 months later, I might have had something for you. But it's just sort of like a lot of the stuff we're working on is like on the precipice of being like fully committed to. So it's like I can't say it now because like I understand all too well like delays in manufacturing and production. So
let me ask you this: is there things in the work that are completely unseen new products?
Yes. Yeah, 2 of them.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. So we've got some really cool stuff.
One of them I'm super excited for. Like,
is it yellow?
It can be yellow.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, we're in.
It can be yellow. Yeah. So just stuff that we, it's been done before, but not in this particular way, and like not to this sort of modularity that we see. So a couple of really cool, like interesting things that I've got to push patents through on some things. And
cool. In that, for that reason, I'll allow you to stop there.
Thank you.
I won't keep pressing you. Yeah. But no, rapid fire is probably one of our favourite parts when we have guests on our podcast. We feel like we get to know you a little bit better because you're sort of under the microscope. You're going to answer these pretty quick. We usually tell the guests there is no negotiation, but we have found nothing but negotiation with every single one. Kim the Collector did a great job, didn't she? She negotiated out of like 6 evolutions. She did well.
Yeah, I know. Well, too much pushovers, I think.
Well, you know.
All right, Darcy. So, my first question to you is you have to remove all of your piercings and you never get another one, or you sell all of your cards and you can never buy another card. You have to pick one.
Cardboard.
That is so hard because they're both my primary.
What are you letting go of?
Well, I can't.
Because you still technically have palms off gaming, right? But you just can't collect any cards.
But I can like appreciate other people's collections, right?
Yep.
I can get someone to collect on my behalf.
They always negotiate.
Yeah. I'll keep my piercings because I have to keep what I sell, and then I can also like admire. Like I can just vicariously live through someone with a collection.
Yeah.
These are hard to heal, man. Like they suck, dude. Like they suck to heal. They're here now.
That little book with the sketch in it. That's gone, bro. That's gone.
I might take my piercings out actually. Shit.
Are we locking it in?
This sucks. This is such a conundrum.
This is just the first one.
Got him.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'll stick with. People are gonna hate me for that, but I'll stick with it. I love body piercing as well. Like it's just such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
Collecting is as well, but I can vicariously collect. I work so closely with Jack and the boys that I could vicariously live through their collections. I reckon I get away with that. I can't vicariously live. Nobody else I know in the office has piercing, so I can't vibe with them on that level.
No, that's a fair.
I've got to keep my individuality.
It's a fair take, bro. It's a fair take.
I love it, bro. All right, second question. You have the power of Goku, but you can never eat Japanese food again.
Nah, I don't really care for power that much. It's fine. I'll just eat Japanese food.
World domination?
Nah, I don't care. Don't care for it.
I'm with Darcy on that one, man. Like,
but you need to hide everything. Like, nobody else has those powers, so then you're probably going to get abducted by the government anyway. They're going to run tests on you. So like,
Japanese food is just elite, bro.
Yeah, I could never be famous either. Like, I'll look at all these famous people and they lose their minds at like all the paparazzi and stuff. I'm like, I vibe with that. Like, I can totally understand why they would lose their minds because they don't get left alone. So I feel like if you'd have the power of Goku, you just wouldn't be left alone, and that's just not for me.
Fair. So what's the first Japanese meal you have?
Oh, sushi sashimi for sure.
Yeah.
Or the beef carpaccio.
Okay, nice.
Both. I'm hungry. Let's go.
Yeah. Bang, 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 bang.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Last question. We've kind of already done this a little bit. You can keep all your tattoos, but you have to give us a palms off exclusive. Or you lose all your tattoos and you can never get one again, but you keep all your secrets.
I keep all my tattoos?
You keep all your tattoos,
but you have to give us a
palms off exclusive.
Which I'm gonna interject and say you kind of already have.
Sick.
So
off the hook.
You're off the hook.
Pre-prepared questions. Already touched on it.
Look, the rest of them are more just so we can get a quick idea about other things. I'm not the one holding a hypothetical gun to your head. That's Lee's job.
Sick.
All right. What was the last book that you read?
Oh, God, I haven't read a book in for so long.
What was it though? Where's Wally?
Probably like Garfield or some shit. Like, just the comic books.
TV Week.
Dude, would magazines count?
Zoo Weekly.
Do they make them anymore? I probably would.
Holly Valance on the cover.
I haven't seen
last book I would have read would have been like Lord of the Rings, a few years ago.
Yeah, cool. That's a good answer because we all love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Right, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Historical figure. My history is not my strong suit.
It's going down like a lead balloon.
Yeah. My brain's going to explode.
I wish I had my cricket machine right now, so I could just be playing all my soundboards.
You can play that in post. That's fine.
Usually I do it live. I'm like, sorry, guys.
Can we give him like a modern day celebrity?
If you could have dinner with a entrepreneur, that you have looked up to or respected in the past, who would that be? You don't like dinner?
I love dinner. This is Japanese food. Probably someone in the tech space, because that's always so heavily moving. I wouldn't know the names of the people, but like, I don't know, someone that's run like, who runs Microsoft? What's his name?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Maybe Bill Gates. Like, because even though he runs like a multi-billion like evil corporation or whatever, it'd be really interesting to find out how their minds work, revolving, particularly around like, if it's never all their brain either. They have the ideas and they get other people to work on it. Sure, they're smart at certain things, but like they can't come up with every idea that Microsoft's coming out with, for example. But
is that what happens here?
Yeah. But it would be interesting finding out like the big decisions behind big corps, because that's not where we are. It would be interesting to see how differently those sort of sectors are run in comparison to a smaller business in Australia, out of all places, not America. Not like a big pond, it's a small pond.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We'll cut out the silencing.
Yeah.
So that
do the Windows start up.
Doo-doo. Yeah. These are rapid fire, right? That's why I just wanted the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yeah.
Like
my mind draws a blank.
You could have said Taylor Swift, historical figure. She's historical. Shake it off, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it'll all be good. What's your favorite way to spend a day off? I know they're few and far between, but when you got them, what do you do?
I'll go for a walk. Go for a walk with the dog. Take my partner out. We'll go to Warrandyte River or go exploring, like just different places. I love waterfalls.
Yeah,
big waterfalls.
Don't go chasing waterfalls though, bro.
I love chasing. No, I'm a big fan. Like just like if you can find it like heavily naturey, sort of you walk through like. Hence, I guess all this and stuff.
I was gonna say,
there's a sick ass place in like King Lake, for example.
Yeah.
And it's big waterfall, and there's a viewing platform, but you can sort of get down there and go towards. You can't swim at the base of it, but you go over these really low hanging canopies and stuff, and it's just a really cool walk. You wouldn't do it in summer; you get bitten by a snake or something like that. But like low, like mid high teens, like it'd be a good day.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee for sure.
You don't like tea? You just like coffee better? Do you even like tea? No. Some people love tea. Some people like coffee.
I like tea, but coffee's better.
Yeah. All right. So mountainside or beaches?
Mountain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I suppose we did just cover that off. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done? PG.
Oh. Skydiving, done that a few times. That was pretty sick.
14,000 feet?
The highest I could go up for the first time. So
which is 14,000 feet, I believe. Yeah.
That's pretty sick. But I haven't done it yet, but I've speaking to my friend to do the diving course, like a scuba diving course.
Yeah, scuba diving I've done when I was younger, just because my uncle used to do it and was a teacher. And that stuff's actually scary. Breathing underwater when you're not supposed to is such a weird feeling.
Yeah, I really want to do it. Ever since I was in year 11, there's been a place in China where they flooded an old town to make a water catchment or whatever, and you can go diving through there now. Yeah. So I really want to do that. So I got a mate that came to my studio the other day, is a client and now a friend of mine, and they were like, "Oh, I'm learning to scuba dive." I'm like, "Dude, hell yeah! Lock me in. I'll do it as well. As soon as things finish up with the studio, I'll learn and we'll go and we'll do some dives." Yeah. So keen for that.
Yeah, sweet. What's your go-to comfort food?
Curries. Like butter chickens or
So I came across this thing the other day that I reckon people have had before, just because you said curry. It's called a spice bag.
Sick.
You ever had a spice bag?
Is it pastries with a little...
Nah. So it's this old Irish thing that the Chinese shops in Ireland used to make. Right. And what it is, it's a bag with deep fried potatoes in it, like chips. They add some organic spices and salt and stuff, and they put fried chicken in there and then cover it in curry sauce. It is unreal.
That sounds up my alley.
You get that at almost any Irish pub. I saw it on a reel on Saturday morning, and then my brother came over and I found a pub in Port Melbourne, and we went and got...
Oh, they do it? Okay. For lunch. I'll be finding that. Yeah, because that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah. It's I walked in and I'm like, "Do you guys do spice bags?" They looked at me like... Do we do them? I was like, 2 thanks. It was so good.
10 out of 10?
Yeah, that's my go-to comfort food now.
I'll have to give that a go.
Are you a texter or a talker?
Talker.
Yeah.
I mean both, but it's just so much more efficient to get it done and cool.
Dream travel destination?
The place in China I was talking about. Yeah. I couldn't tell you the name of it. names, but yeah.
I was going to say cats or dogs, but it's obvious.
Both, actually.
Oh, both?
2 cats, dog. Yeah, animals in general. I love animals. They're so pure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are. What's the last movie you watched?
God, I don't remember the name of it. Actually, no, it would have been Talladega Nights, actually.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolute classic.
yeah.
I wake up in the morning, I piss. Excellent.
I'm going to call you
What's your proudest accomplishment?
Probably this, just like being
on the hobby podcast.
Yeah. Take that words right out of my mouth.
No, you mean this. You mean this.
Yeah, just being able to like work with my friends, hire my mates, and then just like not have to feel like a boss. Like it's just great. Like everyone's equal. We all have a good time.
Yeah. What's number 1 on your bucket list?
It would be that dive in China.
That same dive in China.
Yeah.
Your favorite hobby?
Snowboarding.
Snowboarding? Yeah. So what are we in snow season right now? Have you been to the snow?
No, not yet. I've been so busy setting up the studio. But
or is like August, like proper snow season?
August is you start spooling up in August mostly.
Yeah. Hotham, the spot, Falls Creek? Or?
Falls Creek. We got a house up in Beechworth, so we will go to Falls, even though it's still an hour and a bit to get there, but we'll it's better than the 4-hour drive from Melbourne.
If you could live in any time period, past, future, or present, which would it be?
80s. Like if I was born in the 80s and got to experience the 90s and like that early like punk rocky sort of vibes.
Yeah.
And then
I was born in the 80s.
Yeah, sick.
So I got to experience the 90s.
Blessed.
I was born like right at the end of the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, ideally, I think you want to be born in like 1980.
Yeah.
So that you're like a teenager through the 90s.
Yeah.
Which would have been wild.
Yeah. Because that would have been just like the whole like era. Obviously, I copped the era of the internet and dial up and all that sort of stuff. But being able to appreciate and go out around that scene. And old school like gigs were sick.
Yeah.
Like all freezer events and like all that sort of stuff was so cool. Like we just don't get that as much anymore.
Yeah. Look, that's pretty much it, I think. I think I hope we've covered off everything you thought we might.
Sweet. Thanks for invading my space. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks for letting us.
No, it's sick, man. Well done. I'm really excited to see you guys keep doing these potties and stuff. You're doing an incredible job. So, 2 humble, beautiful faces that I get to see on the internet.
No, I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. He can come on more often.
We talk like that. Absolutely.
Pumping your tires off a little much.
But no, thanks, brother.
That's all right. Cheers, man.
And through the power of magic appears one of the new limited edition binders.
They're now sold out. Limited edition binders on our end anyway. There's probably some retailers and stuff that got some left, but
sold out at distribute. Well, you are the distributor.
Yeah,
but like the creator.
It's like a week and a half. They were gone. Week and a half.
But courtesy of you and the Palms Off Gaming team, we are going to be giving this away. So make sure you jump over to our Instagram where you will find the post. It'll involve obviously liking, subscribing our YouTube channel, and heading over to your Instagram.
Yep. Palms Off Gaming.
Go to Instagram. That's where you're going to find the giveaway. Massive shout out again to Darcy, the Palms Off team, letting us break in. Didn't call the cops, but that is it. Wheels up, and we are out of here, and we'll see you on the next one.